Okay, so we're going to be covering the new Persona 5 Phantom X tier list. That's going to cover also the new Yui, which, keep in mind, she got buffed, and also Marian. Now, I'm using Pride One. I like using this as a baseline. I think it is very good, and it is made by the top players. So in this video, basically, you could also just go on the site down below if you want to check it yourself. My goal, personally, will be to explain to you the tierings and try to make sense of it. So that's basically going to be the goal of this video. So I've had a lot of time overall to really have fun with the game, a lot of the units. So we're going to really break these down in depth. And I also like doing this and talking about it because I honestly, I do it for JJK, the wiki, right? I cover JJK Phantom Parade. I like using the wiki tier list and talking about what I agree with, what I disagree with, and we could get into some discourse in the comments. I think this is going to be a nice breath of fresh air from all the drama. Drama is fun and all, but it does drain the mental, okay? Especially after like a day and a half of just drama, this is going to be a very welcome video to take a little break from it. So let's really get into it. So general tier list covers story, event bosses, Velvet Trials, Astrolab Trials, all other trivial content. Then bossing is going to be Trials from SOS, and then Nightmares Gateway, which is Guild. So keep that in mind. I don't know if they say, do they say it? I know there's top players. I'm pretty sure Red Harv works on it. And I don't know who else. I don't know if they say it. Let me know down below. But I think Red Harv and someone else works on it. It's 2 top 100 players on the CN version. And I definitely think that the global version of the tier list is quite accurate. So let's get into this. So I don't really want to talk too in depth about everything. I think, let me zoom in a bit actually. I think it's a bit small. So if we check this, right? I feel like for general like tier list, this is pretty accurate. Actually, no, maybe we should zoom out. Yeah, let's zoom out. This feels so weird. Hold on. Okay, we're good. So basically, I would agree that Joker and Seiji are probably in this top rank. Now, the thing is, Seiji might be pushing it, right? He doesn't have his dupes, which I definitely think can be quite important. He's losing a hit, right? And then also the crit rate. Now, I don't think I have him like dupe 3. To be fair, I do have him dupe 3. That is true. But I think it is almost pushing it a little bit. However, I think it is quite fair. The main reason is because On, for example, like is very good with someone like Lufel. Now, in general content, I think Seiji is going to be very good, more so as that kind of single target unit. So I think it's fair. Having one AoE, one single target, I think makes perfect sense to me. And we have to keep in mind, this is Seiji at A6, and Seiji was featured, what? He's on Marian's banner. So let's tie that into Marian. Marian makes perfect sense. I mean, she's pretty much the best sustained and will stay very good. Her healing, like I was using her today. Holy fuck, she heals a lot. But then also it's very nice getting this damage bonus. Unfortunately, we can't even count the weapon, but because obviously it's not free, but getting this damage bonus is great. Giving extra max HP is great. Removing debuffs is so huge, right? Dispelling debuffs is really big. Even for one of the bosses, right? For the second palace, removing the debuffs is really huge. And you do it on the ult, AoE, right? And this is basically a max heal. So Marian being in T0 makes perfect sense. I personally do get a lot of mileage out of Yao Ling. I think she works really well. Her little like kind of mini damage she does is pretty good. But then the support, right? Her support and all she's doing for that is also very, very solid. Because like, listen, you're going to be getting a good damage increase here. And I do think she's pretty good. I think maybe I have her rated a bit higher in my opinion because I do have her weapon. But I would say that Yao Ling is still a very, very good unit. You're obviously going to see her fall off quite quick. But I think that for right now, if you have her, it's great. But I don't think she's someone to chase. I don't think you need to chase her. Now, then we got Miyu. She's great. Shields are very strong for general content, especially because it's very hard when you first approach it. So yeah, no, I definitely think this is very fair. So now we go down, and we could go through this a bit quicker, but On is very good. Okay, On, honestly, if you put him in him, you could put her in T0. I could definitely see it, especially if we're considering Lufel at A6, because of course Lufel A6 has the 2 fire damage increases, so keep that in mind, where On is going to get insane extra mileage out of that, and On's damage is also very good. It's AoE. For general content, I feel like you could put T0. However, I also understand why they're putting T0.5. I also don't think it matters too much because we understand that On is good. But I think it's definitely a valid thing to put her in T0.5, especially if we're not considering weapon and at A0. Because you also have to consider, most of you people watching saying On is better than T0 also most likely have her dupe 1, dupe 2, dupe 3, dupe 4, dupe 5, so on and so forth. And Lufel, obviously, so good. Don't even need to go talking about him. He heals, gives attack bonus, later on gives fire bonus. Really good as On is also good. Big W. Leon, honestly, the biggest thing about Marian's banner is also Leon is on it. That's something you have to keep in mind, right? A6 Leon is fucking insane. His ult gives more crit damage for 2 turns, and then his A6 crit damage, right? So these two together make him very good. I think he is a fantastic unit, giving a lot of good damage buffs and having his little shield if need be. So I think Leon is very good, and I like that he is T0 in bossing, and Kaio obviously very, very good. And then we could just kind of show the rest. So Ryuji, I think it's mainly because he's single target, but in a kind of unfortunate way, right? His damage could be dispersed through 2 turns, and I think T1 is fair. Morgana, well, yeah, I could understand why Morgana gets pushed down, because if you think about it, Marian's better than Lufel, and Lufel has more value than Morgana because of the fact that Lufel can work with On, but Morgana doesn't have a direct partner, right? So for me personally, I do rate Lufel higher, also because he's A6. If he's A0, I think you could easily put Morgana over Lufel, but as time goes on, Lufel's going to gain more value as you're going to start dying less, and then Lufel's going to keep that spot over Morgana, at least for now when you consider it. So yeah, I heard in Blade's community, there was a lot of people against Morgana being lower than Lufel, but considering now you have 1 sustain that's really good for sustain, and 1 sustain that also gives a lot of damage bonuses and fire damage bonus, so on and so forth, then yeah, I can understand why Morgana is put down. Haruna, she's okay, right? Like, she's okay. I don't know. She has to also, I just don't like being scaling off of attack. It's like, it's meh. I don't know. I'm not that big on her. And then it's like, Shun being tier 2, high key is a little low. I don't know about you guys. It feels a bit low because his max HP and HP increase is very strong. Also decreasing defense. Like, this is really good. To me personally, I think he should probably go higher. Like, if he went in tier 1. But then it's with Morgana. No, I could still see it. Yeah, I can still see it. Tomoko is just that she doesn't really have like many teams that work. Motoha, honestly, is just very unfortunate. If Yui was like a bit better, or if her follow-ups were AoE, Motoha herself might have jumped up to like tier 1. And then Yui tier 0.5 if it was AoE follow-ups, but I digress. Kyoshi is okay. The main problem is that Lufel exists, right? This is a fire damage support, but Lufel is right there. And since it's considered a 6, obviously that's the reason why. So yeah, and then Yui, she did get buffed. So keep in mind, her ult now is a 2-turn follow-up on global exclusively. That's why it's so good. So having a 2-turn follow-up is going to make her much better when you consider that every follow-up, if you use the skill 3, is going to be 132%. So you're going to get 2 of 132%, right? So keep this in mind, why this is very good, and let's explain it. So, okay, let's explain. Basically, it gives 1 ally playmate, which means that ally is a guaranteed follow-up, right? So you might be like, oh, but then it doesn't matter for the ult. No, it does, because these 2 follow-ups is for 2 turns, because you're supposed to, like, before the buff, it would be 2 turns with playmate, right? But now you're able to guarantee those 2 follow-ups in 1 turn when before you weren't. So now that second 130% follow-up is guaranteed. You understand why that's big, right? Because before, right, it wouldn't be. So now it is for the second turn. So that second turn of the ult is going to have this extra 130% guaranteed, when before you might not have even gotten 80%. And then obviously you could get 3, right? So you could do 130, 130, 80, where before it would be 130, 130, 80, and then maybe you would do like 130, 80, 80, 80, right? So, or yeah, because like 130, but then that second 130% is not guaranteed on the second turn before, but now it is. So it's a very, very nice damage increase, all things considered. I think this is huge, absolutely huge. In general, if you have shitty luck, it could be up to a 210% attack increase or damage increase per turn. 210%. We understand why that's big. So Yui, unfortunately, still isn't that great, but tier 3, I feel like it's pushing it. I do think tier 3 is pushing it. To be fair, I think we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. This tier list was rolled out before Yui buff. With the Yui buff, I just can't see tier 3. Nah, it's like tier 2 or tier 1. Because especially if we're saying Moto has better, right? Like, yes, this is AoE, but keep in mind, Yui has 2 turns of guaranteed follow-up, which means you could just choose who you do this 130% on, and then also she gets the buff, right? So I think she should be better, right? I think you could definitely use her. Is she the best? No. And she does require certain team comps. For example, you would need to run Yao Ling, and you would need to run Morgana for it to work, to where you're always doing follow-ups. Because if not, you're not getting all the attacks, right? So unfortunately, it does force Morgana in a way, right? It forces in a way because Morgana does attacks, Yao Ling does attacks, where Luful and Leon do not. So keep that in mind. I don't really feel like talking about the rest. There's not really much to say. Let me know if you have any big opinions about them that I should have covered. I'll definitely put it in the pinned comment. And then bossing. So bossing, we'll talk about the changes. So number 1, Yui, Ryuji, Yao Ling, Leon, Kaio, Shun, and obviously Marian. So Yui makes sense. Guys, before you might not have even gotten more than 130% per turn. After ulting, of course. Now you're... Bro, the jump is insane. Like, on that second turn, the jump is insane. Because you could go from only 130% to an extra 210% on that second turn of the ult. With the damage increase. Still there. So, personally, I think, in my opinion, Yui makes perfect sense in tier 0 on bossing. She's going to be very good in this in these seasons for sure. Joker also makes sense. His extra turns are very strong. His AoE works well, especially in the boss for guild. Makes a lot of sense. Marian, perfect sense. She is the best sustain, does a lot of sustain, and gives damage bonus. And it's almost guaranteed since you're almost always max healing, especially if you have gear on her. It's so easy to max heal. It's insane. And that damage bonus is really clutch. Just as a sustain, way better than Morgana in my opinion. Huge. Shun makes sense. I perfectly understand this. I think we all do. If we look at it, like... this defense decrease is huge, right? Being able to put this is huge, and then giving the max HP increase is also really good, right? I think Shun is a tremendously good unit, so I'm very happy. And what's good, like, if you all damage reduction is also pretty strong, but not needed in Guild Boss, for example. But he does have his own. Well, there's the damage reduction there, right? So it is pretty nice. He's definitely very, very good. Leon makes sense because he's going to be giving a lot of damage and the crit damage, right? Basically, let's explain the logic. In Guild Boss, a lot of the times it's also about RNG. The only reason Yui is here is also because of RNG, because of course her base follow-up rate is only 35%, so it's very low. However, Guild Boss is very much about resetting until you get the highest amount of points, and Leon is based off of crit damage, right? If you think about it, especially with his dupes, because we are counting with dupes. So because of that, you have to keep in mind, it's very much about RNG, because if you're low enough to get this crit damage boost, then great. If you use the ult, then great. So that's an extra 50% crit damage, but it's all very RNG, so keep that in mind. But that's why Leon is above. And then Kaio, obviously, because you're going to get more damage. Ryuji going up makes perfect sense, especially as a single target. His damage is very high, makes this skill 3 damage high. 340% on a skill 3 is insane. Then an extra 58% after using the ult is insane. You could do this back to back, one after another. And also keep in mind, Leon with Ryuji, when Ryuji has rebound, guarantee a critical hit. Leon's giving an extra up to 50% crit damage. It's insane. So yes, Ryuji is very good for bossing. And of course, Luful still maintains pretty well because he has the attack and later fire buffs. So keep that in mind. Yao Ling, I understand why she goes a bit down because Leon is better. That's the main reason. And Haruna, honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. I'm not against it 100%, but I'm not for it, right? Because I don't know if I would say she's on the level of Yao Ling, personally. But I'm not fully against it. I think Yao Ling is better also because, like, building it with speed is pretty clutch. I'm not going to lie. She does have her own damage boost and all that good stuff. But it's like, yeah, I mean, this is not bad because you could have multiple stacks and go kind of crazy with it for sure. So there is that. But I would still say personally, I'm more leaning towards Yao Ling. However, that is definitely biased because I have Yao Ling's weapon. And then Miyu goes down obviously because less damage increase, of course. Morgana falling this low makes sense. It's like over-healing. There's too much healing. Now, why is it fine with Marian? Because of the fact that, number one, it's going to be good with Motoha because Motoha wants to be overhealed, Summer Motoha. this unit right here. Summer Motoha wants to be overhealed, so in the future, in September, when she comes out, most likely, the overheal is going to give herself a damage bonus alongside the one that Marian gives. But as of right now, the main reason why it's fine is because the overhealing gives the team a damage bonus, and it's overhealing, but she's also doing other things. Removing debuffs, damage increase, increasing max HP is personally better than a res, right? That's my personal opinion. Marian is huge for that and is very consistent with what she does. And yeah. So that's the thing, why I personally see how they put this. Now, I understand him going up because of the fact he still can work with on. So we have to, you can't discount that, right? You can't. You just can't. Pretty much, I love that she got over Morgana. It's so funny. It is actually really funny. But it's only because there's a damage bonus, right? Increase the damage by 7%, right? So up to 21%. So there's a damage bonus, which is why she got higher. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't even... Bro, this poor guy. Like, we're not even going to talk about it. I didn't talk about Kotone, actually. We should probably talk about her. It is just, I would say, overall, a bit unfortunate. Dupes themselves aren't too crazy. Also, look, takes a while to stack up, right? That's the thing. Having to get the stacks up a lot of time is rough. Also, considering that it's not huge follow-up damage. Damage overall isn't too crazy. Also depends on certain things for the damage bonus, so on and so forth. So yeah, not the craziest overall. But still respectable tier 2 for a 4-star. Not that bad. But yeah, I'm very happy that at least Yui is not horrible right now. Kind of crazy she's in tier 3 on bossing. I guess they did change the tier list. There is that. I'm not going to go over the CN tier list. Obviously, as you know, I don't play CN. I'm good. I'm going to get more into it. I'm going to be probably doing a showcase for Barry, but for now, I'm kind of chilling. But yeah, no, overall, very solid tier list. Honestly, the changes I would make, number 1, Yui should probably go minimum tier 2. I could see Shun going to tier 1. I could see Ryuji going to tier 0.5, but I don't think it's a necessity. I could see Kyoshi going up because it's like, you know, what if you're not running Lufo, for example? I think Kyoshi can go up. And then, because if you're putting Kyoshi up in bossing, well, it's because fire damage taken, right? That's the main thing. So, you know, I'm just going to make that very clear that it should very much be that if he's up here in bossing because of the fire damage, it should be that way for general too. So I'm mainly, my critiques is like Kyoshi, Morgana, my bad. Shun, I didn't mean to say Morgana. Shun to tier 1, Yui at least tier 2, and then for bossing, like, do I even have anything like negative about bossing? Maybe Haruna going down, but I'm not too fussy about that. Overall, I think this is pretty chill. Yeah. No, the bossing is very good. The bossing tier list is actually very good. So yeah, that's basically going to be it. Let me know what you think of this tier list. Did Pride cook? Did Pride not cook? There's not many units, so I think it's pretty hard to be quite consistent. However, obviously, everyone's going to have certain disagreements on things. That's only the nature of a tier list. But overall, I would say they did pretty good. Shout outs to the Pride team. I'm going to put this link down below if it isn't already. Thank you for watching this video. Give a like on the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.